Welcome to my channel. I'm going to take you to Vietnam, the cheapest country in the world. I have $100 and I'm going to show you what I can get for it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing travel experiences. Vietnam is a beautiful country with stunning landscapes and friendly people, but it's also home to some of the world's most delicious food, which is really cheap. So let's go check it out. I began my trip in Ho Chi Minh City, formerly known as Saigon, where I took a taxi from Tan Son Nhat International Airport to the city center. Taxis are very inexpensive in Vietnam. If you want to get around town, they are a great way to do it. A ride from the airport to the city center costs only about $5. Once I arrived at my hotel, I checked in and headed out to explore the city. The first thing I noticed when walking around Ho Chi Minh City was how cheap everything was. A cup of coffee costs only $1, water is less than $1 per bottle, and a meal at a local restaurant will cost you just a few dollars. I began by visiting the famous Ben Thanh Market, which is one of the city's oldest and largest markets. It's a great place to find souvenirs and local crafts, but I wanted to try some fresh fruit. I bought a coconut for about 2 quarters, and it was so refreshing. It had a sweet and creamy taste that was perfect for the hot weather. Next, I grabbed an iced tea for around $1, which was incredibly refreshing. The owner even gave me free beans to enjoy. As I continued exploring the market, I came across a noodle and candy shop and decided to buy a bowl of pho for around $2. Pho is a traditional Vietnamese soup dish that consists of broth, noodles, meat, and vegetables. It's usually served with a side of chili, lime, and bean sprouts. This particular pho was made with chicken, and it was absolutely delicious. The broth was rich and flavorful, and the noodles were soft and chewy. I also tried some fresh spring rolls, which were crispy on the outside and packed with fresh vegetables and a tasty dipping sauce. These were some of the best spring rolls I've ever tasted. Overall, my meal at Bon Thang Market cost just under $4, which is a bargain considering the quality and quantity of food I consumed. After my amazing meal, I walked around the city center and did some sightseeing. I visited the Independence Palace, which is a historic landmark that was once the home of South Vietnam's government. I also explored the nearby Notre Dame Cathedral, which is a beautiful example of French colonial architecture. I then took a short taxi downtown to District 1, where I checked out the bustling streets and vibrant atmosphere. I stopped by a local bakery and bought a loaf of bread for around 2 quarters. I then walked around the neighborhood and enjoyed the sights and sounds of the city. As evening approached, I headed back to the hotel to rest before starting my next adventure. The next day, I decided to take a day trip to the Mekong Delta, which is located about an hour's drive from Ho Chi Minh City. The delta is home to a network of rivers, canals, and islands that are home to a variety of wildlife and plant life. I hired a boat for around $8 for a tour of the delta. And as we sailed through the waterways, I saw many different types of birds, fish, and reptiles. We also visited a floating market where I could buy fresh seafood and other local products. I bought some fish to try, and it was cooked up for me right there on the spot. It was grilled and topped with fried garlic and spring onion, and it had a unique chewy texture that I had unexperienced before. I also got my hands on some grilled rice paper, which was filled with pork floss and corn. It had a crunchy exterior and a soft chewy interior. And overall, it was a delicious snack to enjoy while cruising down the river. The total cost of my day trip to the Mekong Delta, including transportation, boat rental, and food, was just under $30, which is a great value considering the unique experiences and beautiful scenery. After returning to Ho Chi Minh City, I continued my exploration of the city. I visited the War Remnants Museum, which showcases the history of the Vietnam War. I also walked around the city, its parks and gardens, which provide a peaceful oasis from the hustle and bustle of city life. I then took a taxi to the nearby city of Nha Trang, where I checked into my hotel and spent the night. The following day, I decided to relax and enjoy the beach. I spent the morning swimming, sunbathing, and reading a book. In the afternoon, I rented a motorbike for about $5 and drove along the coast. I then stopped at a local restaurant for a late lunch and enjoyed some fresh seafood. I tried a dish called bun ca noac bear, which is grilled rice paper served with vermicelli noodles, herbs, and a tasty tamarind sauce. I also tried a fried whole fish, which was topped with fried garlic and spring onion. and it had a unique chewy texture that I had unexperienced before. The next day, I decided to visit the Ponagar Temple, which is an ancient Hindu temple complex that dates back to the 7th century. I then took a taxi back to Ho Chi Minh City and started my journey to Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. I took a train from Ho Chi Minh City to Hanoi, which cost about $35 for a sleeper berth. The journey took around 30 hours, but it was comfortable and I had a private room with a bed, air conditioning, and a toilet. When I arrived in Hanoi, I checked into my hotel and spent the next few days exploring the city. I visited the Temple of Literature, which is dedicated to Confucius and other scholars. I also walked around the city's old quarter, which is home to narrow streets lined with shops, restaurants, and cafes. I then took a bike tour around the city, which allowed me to see many of its hidden gems in local neighborhoods. I stopped at a local bakery and bought a baguette for around $2. I then visited the Ho Lo prison, which is a former prison that was used during the Vietnam War. I then took a water puppet show, which is a traditional form of Vietnamese entertainment that features puppets made from wood or leather that are manipulated on a pond. As I continued exploring the city, I came across a street food vendor and bought a banh mi for around $2. Banh mi is a popular Vietnamese sandwich that consists of a baguette filled with pork floss, pickled vegetables, and cilantro. I also tried a fried spring roll, which had a crunchy exterior and a soft, chewy interior. And overall, it was a delicious snack to enjoy while walking around the city. I also tried some fresh coconut, which was sweet and refreshing. I stopped at a local coffee shop and bought an egg coffee for around $1. Egg coffee is a unique Vietnamese drink that consists of egg yolks, sugar, and condensed milk. It's often served hot or cold, and is a popular choice among locals and tourists alike. At night, I explored the city's nightlife and visited a rooftop bar for some live music and dancing. The atmosphere was lively, and the drinks were reasonably priced. Overall, my time in Hanoi was filled with cultural exploration, delicious food, and fun experiences, and I was amazed by the city's rich history and vibrant energy. The total cost of my 3-day stay in Hanoi, including accommodation, transportation, and activities, was just under $150, which is an incredible value considering the unique experiences and cultural immersion I had. From exploring ancient temples to trying traditional foods and enjoying the lively nightlife, Hanoi had something to offer everyone and left me with unforgettable memories. During my trip, I stayed in a mix of budget hotels and hostels, and the average cost of accommodation was around $10 per night. While transportation costs vary depending on the type of travel, I found that taxis and motorbike rentals were relatively inexpensive, costing around $5 or less per day. Entrance fees to attractions ranged from free to around $5. Street food and local restaurants offered delicious meals for just a few dollars. Overall, my entire trip in Vietnam cost just under $250, which is a remarkable value for the experiences and memories I created. Vietnam is truly a hidden gem, and I highly recommend it to anyone looking for an affordable and unforgettable travel destination. Whether you're interested in exploring ancient temples, trying delicious street food, or simply relaxing on the beach, Vietnam has something to offer everyone. The locals are incredibly friendly and welcoming, and the natural beauty is breathtaking. Just be sure to bring cash and be prepared to haggle. Most importantly, come with an empty stomach and a sense of adventure. You won't be disappointed.